Welcome, 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 welcome. I've got with me, I'm Dubs at Large, Clifton Joseph. This is the Eglinton West pop-up podcast, basketball, old heads talking b-ball edition. I got my man to the side, still adjusting his camera, taking care of business, Michael Solomon. Michael Solomon, some people say you're a legend in your own mind. Others like me say that you are a legend in your time. Go through your bio to explain to the folks who don't know you like I do why you are a treasured player of basketball lore in this country, going back to the settlement, going back to scholarships at the universities around the country and so on, and in all kind of big games. Tell us about yourself, Michael Solomon. You old head.
Yeah, I go back to the 60s, came here in the 60s, 68, went through the movement with the different cultural organizations, BCAC, Harriet Tubman Youth Center, Maroons, and went on to play a lot of high school basketball. That's where I think I got my initial success at Oakwood, playing alongside greats like Leon Bino and Derek Lewis. Went off to university, to St. Mary's University in Halifax, where I was a member of 2 national championship teams. Transferred to Concordia to study fine art, played 1 year for them, took them to number 3 in Canada, and went on to have some fun playing show ball with the Maroons, the Globetrotter routine.
Nice. And Michael, when I had called you initially about doing this podcast, right, you were in like Flynn from the get-go. Why?
It was a fun thing to do, you know. I mean, we need to talk about the history and to have our say. We need to have a word in this game, and doing this with you makes it a lot of fun, you know.
And of course, I lean on you like you're Bill Withers. You know what I mean? I'm leaning on you, brother. I heard you sing that song straight direct to my left earlobe. You know what I mean? So I'm really with you. And tonight,
we gotta lean on each other, brother.
Let's do that. 128-113, the Raptors win in against the Grizzlies, the Memphis Grizzlies, which used to be the Vancouver.
Yes.
Remember, that was a Vancouver team back in the day, right?
Yeah.
And it has one of my favorite players from the Raptors that I thought that they really messed up and messed over, Jonas Valanciunas. He was on a tier tonight, Michael. That dude did what he had like 20-something points and about 20 rebounds.
27 and 20.
Wow. Isn't that some shit though?
Well, I can understand it.
What do you mean?
Jonas is saying, "Now you want me now, don't you? Now you want."
Besides,
he's been rumored, let me tell you.
He's been rumored as a possibility to get back to the Raptors, eh?
Yeah, but you know the Raptors have a history of players leaving the Raptors and becoming superstars elsewhere. It seems like Jones is on his way to being a superstar, or he is the leader of that team.
Yep.
You know, so yeah, it's nice to see him having success, though. You know, that's one when you play against a team where one of your former players are not playing for. You know, you're pulling for them as well. So you know, it was nice to see him have a good game.
And the seesaw of this, like in a playground, like children back in the day, Michael, in the sandbox and stuff, where there's a seesaw going around. So, for instance, 2 games ago, the Raptors won like 3 in a row, and next thing you know, they were tied with Atlanta for 6th in the East. Then they play Atlanta, lose, and then they're now 12th. Yeah. So we got to put together a couple of wins to just get back into that thing.
Well, we're doing it. You know, this is 5 games and 4 wins. Yeah, that's a damn good record. I mean, forget what's happened before. We're moving forward, right? We're not looking back.
And this was another one of those strange, eerie kind of games. Like we've had a lot of them with the Raptors lately, right? From Fred doing 54, getting the record, scoring record for the Raptors, from the whole thing with the Nets with Durant and the in and out and protocols and so on. And now we have this game here where Lowry goes out with back spasms.
Overusing the overuse syndrome, like we spoke about.
Exactly, like that nurse is turning into our eyes, right in front of our eyes, Nurse is turning into assistant coach Casey, man. Anyway, so Lowry leaves, then Nurse gets ejected, gets a second technical, goes out. Adrian Griffin comes on, starts scoring and getting coaching. And Michael, some intriguing things to me with all of this here, right, is that the Raps got into like a 19-2 run. They had
Yeah.
some magnificent ones, some 26-4 runs. Some intriguing lineups out there I saw. I'm telling you, man. Under Griffin, I saw Bembry, Boucher, Watanabe, um, Powell, and Pascal.
That's a fast, quick lineup.
I'm telling
Those
you.
guys could switch back and forth and play some in-your-face defense.
And then,
that's it. That's what it takes to get back into a game.
And they did, because they were down a whole bunch of points and came back up, right? That and their defense. And then the other lineup, intriguing to me, that Griffin tried was that instead of having Watanabe, now you have Fred VanVleet, Pascal, Powell, Boucher, and Bembry. Look, Bembry must have Bembry played what, about 20 minutes of as point guard? Wasn't he the one bringing the ball up for a whole?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. You're right there. Get this. Yeah, Bembry does everything. Bembry's like the switch army knife for the Raptors. You know, so we need this. If you look at his stats today, I mean, the young man does everything we need him to do, man. And he has so much energy. He really complements Boucher. You know, when the two of them are all together, that's a lot of energy on the court, man. That's a good lineup. That's a lineup to come back in games from.
And so, you know, the old folks in back in the day in the Caribbean will say, and others I imagine will say, every disappointment is a blessing. So we got two disappointments, which is two blessings. So Lowry leaves the back spasms, and night nurse Nick Nurse, coach, left. Got ejected with two technicals. So now Adrian Griffin takes over, and he starts to mix things up. In some ways, trying to remind Nick Nurse of what he was.
Well, let me jump in there. When a coach gets ejected like that, you know, the coach is fighting for you. He gets ejected. That also is like an adrenaline rush for a team too. You know, the guys have to come together. See, VanVleet brought the guys together in the huddle. You know, and it's like, we gonna do this without the coach. We know what we got to do.
College style, NCAA style.
Just tune in and, you know, turn on. And they got it done.
What was outstanding for you though? Because they were down for a while and looked at one point listless. They were still doing the same things, Michael. How many times have I complained, man? And you must think I'm a broken record back in the day. Why are they getting up all of these threes?
It took the coach being ejected to wake them up, because the players got to do it. I mean, a coach could tell you to do this, do that. Come on, guys. A coach could even be saying the wrong things, and the guys on the court, just knowing the chemistry, just move accordingly, you know, to make things happen. And that's what happened. The coach went out, and the players got down on it. That's it.
We have a history, of course. This team has a history of being very defensive. We're up there with blocks in the NBA. We're one of the key teams in terms of steals regularly. You know what I mean? A whole bunch of cats we got, like Siakam. We got OG when he comes back. And look, we've been doing this shit without OG, Michael.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying? OG, when is that brother due back?
I don't know. I haven't heard any thing to that nature. No one is saying when he's going to be back. Like I said about that kind of an injury, you got to wait, Clifton.
Yeah, take your time, young man. Mama used to say, don't you rush to get it on. My man Junior, the British brother, remember that? Mama used to take your time, young. There's no rush. There's no rush, because what we're seeing is the team we have. And we still got guys who, like Watson, like, what's my three-point shooter dude, who still are back there. But what we have now is that with this game tonight, man, the defense stepped up from like the second quarter onwards and
Yeah.
just locked them down. Look, one of the reasons I wanted to see this game, Michael, is that I think that guy Ja Morant, point guard for the Grizzlies, is a hell of a guy, hell of a talent. That dude is
Yes.
magnificent. We shut that brother down tonight. At
Yes.
some points, I didn't
Listen,
realize he
Van
was playing.
and Powell, we have a hell of a defensive team, you know.
I'm telling you, man.
It's I don't think people Torontonians realize how good a defensive team Toronto is. And
Sometimes
they
not
just
even night nurse. Sometimes
defeat
not even night nurse Nick, the assistant coach.
maybe so, but yeah. I mean, I really respect defense. That's why my game was a defensive game. Defense wins championships.
And I was skeptical with some of the lineups I was saying because there were some other lineups where there weren't any starters on there, and some lineups where Norm, who really is not a starter, I mean, is a starter now, but usually would be off the bench. So there were a lot of lineups, but they were defensively binding, man. Watanabe came in and gave us a spark here and there. Bambry came in, did his thing. Terrence Davis did a little stretch there in the first quarter and first and second quarter there and so on. So I haven't got the stats in front of me right now, but Michael, it was a defensive clinic in a way, shut them down. And you can see at some point the team realized that, look, what are we fussing about these scrubs? Just let's do what we got to do. Execute, run the play, go by the playbook, and let's just get this shit done.
Well, you know, them being a bottom-dwelling team, the Grizzlies being a bottom-dwelling team, they have to get up for everybody, right? So they're up. They're on a high for the Raptors. So they played very good in the first half of the game. That was a lot of points scored. Raptors weren't really playing defense in the first half either. But they locked in the second half. The coach getting thrown out got them back to the game.
Because Boucher, let's talk about Boucher. Boucher's got a double-double, 12 points and 10 rebounds. He's got 2 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. 29 minutes. That brother is Mr. Efficiency, or turning out to be Mr. Efficiency, and moving up the ladder to maybe 6th man of the year, most improved. Who knows?
He certainly is ticking off those categories right there. They have to consider him in those. They do have to consider him.
And that old canard, I go back to this again, man. Sometimes I must sound like a broken record and I'm using the same metaphor more than 2 times in the same podcast. But I must sound like a broken record because Boucher, so far this season, Michael, has taken up for one and at times both of the 2 big centers we lost. He has actually been doing consistently what we would get from either Serge and occasionally Serge and Gasol together. And tonight, after Valanciunas, the Grizzlies ain't got no big guys, and he was on Valanciunas for a lot of the time tonight.
Right. You see how they were playing it. They were switching off. You know, he would cover him. He would cover Valanciunas up high, and as he goes low, Pascal would take over. And so Pascal is backing him, and Boucher is either fronting him or staying up on the guys trying to shoot the 3. So the defense was on, man. The defense turned on in the second half. And but Valanciunas still got his points, but it made it a bit tougher for him, you know?
So what have you seen tonight, Michael, that shows you in a number of criticism level, like for instance, about the coach, Night Nurse Nick, about what he's got to do, given all that Adrian Griffin has shown him certain things, how to be more flexible, because one of the key things for me for the second half was that ball was moving. There was trust between teammates. Guys were given a more elevated role. Just because Lowry was out, that's a big minus there right now with Kyle out. So everybody had an elevated. I'm telling you, Bembry played point guard, brought the ball up for like about 10, 15 possessions or something. So what does it show you, Michael, about the grit behind this team, knowing that the trade deadline is looming in about 3 or so weeks, right? And there's a lot of rumors about ex-Raptors playing coming back, and of course, the jewel in the crown is Kyle Lowry is the one most likely being talked about right now, about being moved to Philadelphia, Chicago. There are all kind of scenarios. The Heat, all kind of scenarios out there, which would be very enticing for the Raptors. But what do you see now going forward with this team, and what do they got to do to lock up at least 5, 6 or so in the Eastern Conference playoffs?
Play like they played in the second half of the game. Play like that from the jump.
Mm-hmm.
The thing with I can't really make a call on the coaching. It was too short a time. He did get tossed. I can't say they came back because of the assistant coach.
But you know he's been messing up for a while, though. You know,
yeah, but I mean,
been messing up for a while, though. Come on.
Yeah, but it's too short a sample to make any judgment on that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah, I give it to the players. The players came on and did what they had to do.
They did.
I mean, it's good when a guy like Larry goes out, they know they got to buckle down because he's the horse, right? He takes them where they need to go.
And Lowry must be really impressed, because remember he called him out 2 weeks ago or so, saying that the team has lost its swagger, that there's no swag on the court now. Cats ain't even talking to one another, not running out plays and let you know what's going on in the court. He says, somebody asking one of them journalists saying, well, what they got to do now, Kyle? What your teammates got to do? Just talk. Mm-hmm. Michael, you've been in situations, for instance, right, where you get this thing here. I saw coming on to the end of the game, you could see the confidence rising in the Raptors as they went on and they executed plays, right?
Yeah.
For those of us who didn't play the game, like myself out here, you could clearly see, though, that momentum had changed. The Raptors were laughing, they were smiling, and so on. Explain that feeling, and then, like, how do you say, okay, the game is not quite over yet? Like, we could celebrate, but we can't. Just to hold that energy behind you, but still letting everybody know we got this shit.
That's the confidence. That's when when you come together as a team and you click, you just know. You just know, you got the feeling, you know where the ball is going. Whoever touches the ball, they're in that feel-good space. Everybody is vibing and you're gonna hit shots. It's the same thing. It's the opposite of what happens when you see a team start missing easy foul shots.
Mm-hmm.
When you start hitting shots, you just keep on hitting shots, and it just keeps going. And that's what they're into.
Talk to me then, Michael, about the that Detroit winning championship team with Chauncey Billups, but the two Wallaces and so on. There were no superstars in that, and they went up against the Lakers, right? Mm-hmm. Gary Payton had poached himself, embarrassed himself there, trying to hold on to coattails. Karl Malone, I was really surprised about Karl Malone, really. Try to get that stuff going.
Yeah, man, he got, I would have liked for Karl to get one. I mean, not against my Bulls, when the Bulls were going strong, but I would like them to get one,
Yeah, but come on, you can't be joining the Lakers,
but
man.
You know what? When he went to the Lakers, they were depending on him, and he got hurt. He got hurt that season because the Lakers were depending on him to help them get that championship.
Mm-hmm.
It was a calculated risk, but injuries, man, the older you get, the more frequent those injuries come.
And I was saying all of that to move up to the point I'm trying to make still, right, is that I think that the key move, one key move that the Raptors can make, I think, is to get a serviceable center, like a serviceable center, and some kind of mid-range creator on the wing or whatever position, somebody who you can throw the ball to and they'll get you a point or two every other time, right?
You know what? You got to stop and realize we have these players right now. OG's when OG's back, we have that confidence.
You know what? You're right. I stand the cues. I stand the cues. Go ahead.
Okay, Barry.
So then this gets me back to my other
We're good.
peccadillo.
We're in good hands, you know. We need that. The center position is the only position I think we need to worry about.
Because I heard some
Well, there's a
ridiculous
lot of
thing.
elite big men in this league, and when they get going, you know, like you see with Valanciunas tonight, you know,
Yes.
he's one of those elite big men now. That's what he is.
Yep.
Or when you get going, we need somebody who could bang with him.
Dig. Now I heard a
The
ridiculous
person
move.
banging with him has to have some versatility on the offensive end too.
See,
We don't have that versatility in our center right now.
so okay, here's a problem. I think that Messiah and them, and by the way, Messiah has been really quiet for the longest while. I mean, that's his style, right? But he's been pretty quiet with what's going on. But of course, the trade deadline is coming up, so I'm sure he's working the phones, right? One of the rumors out there is that the Raptors are hot on the trail of Andre Drummond,
That's
ex
nice.
of the Pistons, and now in Cleveland.
That would be nice, man. That
Michael,
would make me very happy. No, that would make Torontonians very happy. Give them a lot of hope.
He cost 28.5 million.
You know, those kind of amounts in this game is nothing these days. You know, it's hard to get used to it. You know, so it was like, oh, no big problem, man.
Well, look,
that could be the whole team once upon a time.
But here's the question, Michael. On that same team, they got Dwight, and they also have Javine McGee.
Yeah.
So I would take either of them two guys for 10 million.
Once you say they're trying to get Dwight, that's a good sign. So let's hope some good things happen, man.
Well, I just think that what Masai should be doing is just channeling the Cleveland like they're the Knicks, and you can fleece them. Because we can always fleece. How many times has a Masai fleeced the New York Knicks?
But these kind of things, we are not the experts. I just anxious to see what magic Masai pulls out of his hat now. You know? Yeah.
So to reiterate, then you're saying that we need a center and what else?
That versatile center who's really good on the offensive end of things.
And you don't think you need a second player like I do, like you need a creator, somebody who you can get the ball to?
We have enough of those guys, and we have that chemistry is developing. They have that chemistry. That's how we come back in games. Our guys move well. And they feed off each other pretty good. You know, they have it going.
Props to the overall coaching situation. So one tender moment I had, tender love. So tender, close to you, baby. I am so tender. Oh, Michael, didn't you go crazy when you hear that tune come on and you ain't got nobody to dance with?
Yeah, I'm glad I haven't been in that situation. You know, I always manage to.
There was a tender moment though between Valanciunas and Toronto dude Jamal McGlure, who is on the coaching staff of the big man, and they hugged at one point at the end. It was behind somebody else, you know, it was like back in the background, and I was like, wow, look at that. That was sweet, I thought, because I thought that they mishandled JV, but that's for another time, man.
That's the politics, that's the business of it, you know. Yeah. JV has his heart is in Toronto, man.
I'm telling you, of course.
Yeah.
So, Michael, thank you so much, man. We got some more games to go, but that's a win in the win column. And we've seen in the East recently, at least with the Raptors experience, that if you win 2 or 3 in a row, you mean that in 5th, 6th place or 7th. Yeah. You win 4 or 5 in a row, you're probably in number 3. So it's moving up and down, and we've seen a window into the future tonight, I think. With Kyle Lowry out since like midway through the second, we've seen Fred take business.
Yeah. And you see, we can settle down and look after business, right?
Yeah.
It took a while. It took a while for Fred to settle everything down, and then we started to come back.
Yes.
But Fred did settle things down, and that was it. You know, we need that veteran leadership. He's become a veteran quite quickly, you know.
He's been waiting on an opportunity like tonight too. Yeah. He's been practicing and waiting for an opportunity like tonight, and he shone like Earth, Wind, and Fire, shining star.
That's what you are. Yeah.
Yes, baby. Thank you, Michael Chain, my Michael Solomon. So props to my dude out there. Jude Kelly isn't. I wasn't able to be with us tonight, but we got getting Jude back so we can have some old heads talking basketball. Michael, what's your confidence level with the Raptors? What now? And what do you think? We're in a truncated 72 game season. They're still considering having the All-Star Weekend, March 7th. I think it's a bad idea myself. We've talked about that. But then what do you see? Because the Raptors usually wind up around All-Star, you know what I mean? And after All-Star, they start to like really get their pistons together. But they don't have that luxury now.
Hold on. We are 4 wins. We're 4-1 in 5 games we've gone. So that's a good record. Let's keep that going.
All right.
I like to look at the glasses, half full.
Half full. And now you got 4 quarts. You got 4 quarts full in this one so far, Michael. Yeah, thank you so much, man. Cheers to you and have a good drink in the 4/5 full glass of Raptors win.
Right here, bro.
Right on, right on. Cheers. Thank you, everybody, for listening to us here. I'm Dubs for the Large, Clifton Joseph. This has been the Eglinton West Pop-Up Podcast featuring the Old Heads Talking Ball edition with my special guest here, Canadian legend Michael Solomon. We're out of here. Right on, right on.
All right. Good night.